Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another beautiful Fast Friday, March the 4th, 2022, episode 648, part 1. And yesterday's morning episode, I told you, gave you the preview of what this was, and it said it's going to be talking about a passage that I enjoy, which is verses 1 through 8, which is the actual passage that I like out of this chapter that we're talking about Ecclesiastes. Well, that's what it is. And I've already got my Bible sitting right here next to me, open to that section, so I can get to it. Said I was going to read it, so. But how's everybody doing this morning? Hope everyone had a wonderful Thursday yesterday. And looking forward to another Friday, your first Friday of March. But today we're going to be talking about a time to die. From the very passage of Ecclesiastes 3. And we're going to start over with 1 and 2. But I'm going to read the whole 1 through 8. Because I love that passage. And it talks about here in the beginning. So the first 8 verses. Which is my favorite passage. A time for this, a time for that. A time for this, a time for that. That's the way it goes. I love the way they put it. So, in my version, I think probably some of the other versions are like that too. They're lined up the same way. So I hope you read that passage. But that's what we got. So if you're excited about today, if Ecclesiastes chapter 3, 1 through 8 is one of your favorite passages as a Christian. Smash the like button and let me know why in the comments. Subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, share the video and channel with your family and friends, and help me reach that help me reach that 100 subscriber mark by April the 18th, which is my birthday, and that is 45 days away. So that's a month and a half left before. You might as well say month and a half. Because you got at least like 30 days. And you say 45 days, that's 15 more days. So that's half of 30. So you got a month and a half. Even though March is 31 days. So. But you look at it, the standard is 30 days is a full month. May have 31 days, but still a full month for 30. So if it's 15 days is a half of 30 days. So that's a month and a half. But help me get to that mark by then. Spread the news. Get more subscribers. So, but here it is. A time to die. Starts off in Ecclesiastes 3, 1 and 2. Says, to everything there is a season. And a time to every purpose, under the heaven, a time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted. So that was verse 2. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck what is planted. Verse 3 goes on and says, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain, and a time to love, a time to keep, a time to throw away, a time to tear, a time to view, sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak, and a time of love, a time to hate, a time of war, a time of peace. Amen? So I love that very spot of passage, 1 through 8. So, let me know if that's a favorite passage of yours. And why. So in the first 8 verses of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, There is a remarkable listing of 28 times arranged in 14 pairs of opposites, like a time to be born and a time to die, which is our title today. So there's a time for somebody to be born and a time for somebody to die. And a little quirk that I used to hear, that the colored people, the black people, as most people, be hateful when you say a certain term like that for those people. Colored people, there's a lot of groups of them that they celebrate when one passes, when one of them passes, but yet they mourn when one is born. It's just that's the way I heard it. I don't know whether that's true or not. It's just they're happy that one of them passes, but then they're sad because there's another one comes along. But in a better sense, when one dies, it's better to have somebody take their place, or whatever, or however you say that, mean by that. But so every timed event is planned by God and has a purpose. Verse 1. So to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. And everything is beautiful in God's time for it, in verse 11. So although it is beyond our finite comprehension, it is still bound to be true that the infinite, omnipotent God worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. Ephesians 1:11. So even when in our time we may not understand how a particular event can be purposeful or beautiful, we can have faith that it occurs in God's time for it. It is. Romans 8:28. So the time of our birth is, of course, not under our control, but we certainly have a part in determining the occurrence of all the other 13 times, even the time of death. With the exception of those still living at the time of Christ's return, each of us will eventually die. God has appointed a time for each individual, and it is wrong for him or her to shorten that time by suicide or careless living, which can never be part of his will for any of us. And that's true. So we should say with David, my times are in thy hand, Psalm 31:15, and seek to live in ways pleasing to him as long as he allows us to live. So we should pray that when our time is finished, he will enable us to die in a manner that will be beautiful in his time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. So not one of us knows when that ordained time to die may be for us, or so we must seek daily to walk in wisdom toward them that are without redeeming the time. Colossians 4, verse 5. So, was there a specific reason why my brother died? Why in the world did he have to take him so early? Was there a purpose? We'll never know until we get to heaven. And said, why did he go so early? Why was he taken from us so suddenly? What was the purpose behind it? We may never know. God may never reveal that truth to us when we get to heaven. But he knows. But we're still left bewildered why it happened. And if you're a newbie on this video, I'm talking about my brother Matthew. Just back in October, on October the 1st, which it was a Friday, he got up, got dressed, everything, done his normal rituals to go to work on. He left the house, was heading to work, which I'm in Leesburg. and he worked in Mineola, which is still Lake County, but he was on his way to work, and he was at the 2 red lights. He was sitting at a red light here, and there was still one light to go through, and then another light where he turned to go up to where the job was. And he was sitting at the light waiting for it to turn red, and some 65-year-old woman was coming at a bit of speed, rear-ended his truck. And my mom said that the truck bed was bowed. He was hit so hard that truck bed. He was in a Ford F-150 tough truck, and from that momentum of that van hitting that truck, it bowed that tailgate. It bowed the bed. But he had so much injury from it that he severed an artery in his heart, and he bled out before the paramedics could get to him. He bled internally before anybody could get to try to save him, and then there was nothing they could do. He lost. I guess he lost too much blood at the time, and was unable to save him. And he's now in a box, sitting in our corner over there. We never got his table set up like we wanted it, but he was taken from us very suddenly. And heck, we didn't know about it till later that afternoon when that happened. Because they said that the police people had come by to let us know, because that was the only mode of transportation, so there was no vehicle in the yard. But the way our house is, we're in back bedroom, so we can't hear nothing from somebody knocking on the door. Which we need to get a doorbell, or some kind of doorbell where we can hear it in the back of the house. But then later that afternoon, another trooper came by. It was a state patrol. He came by, knocked on the door, and then that's when we found out. But that's just one thing or another. It's like, why was he taken from us so sudden? But November, December, January, February, a little over 4 months now we've been without him. And he was the rock that held us together. But now I'm doing all the driving. Since my cousin sold us a vehicle after we got the money from the settlement from the life insurance, we was able to get some money and buy us another vehicle, which we still got some minor details to get it back in tip-top shape. But now I'm doing all the driving and taking people to doctor's appointments, going to the store, which is a lot easier now with a vehicle. Beforehand, I would have to be walking all the time. We went without a vehicle for 2 or 3 months. Well, it was sometime just before Christmas that we got the vehicle. So we went about 2.5 months, and I had to walk everywhere. So, that's hectic. And if my bicycle was fixed, I'd have been riding a bicycle most of the places. But going to the store, I had to push a basket back and forth, which is sitting here right behind me. I don't know how to get it back up to the store, so I guess I could just get it in there and push it in the back and leave the tailgate up enough where I can and just go slowly and then walk over there and pull it out and push it down and do something like that. But sorry for rambling about that, but I'm not even got to my outro yet. Dadgummit. And I'm already hitting 15 minutes. I shouldn't be this long, but coming up tomorrow in your Saturday Days of Praise, Days of Praise, we're going to be talking about episode 6 649, we're going to be talking about the unmuzzled ox, starting with Deuteronomy 25:4. So stay tuned to that. I'll get to that sometime today on Friday. But coming up at 1 o'clock, we're going to be talking about Unshakable Faith from Ann Cetus in episode 648, part 2. And it is derived from Matthew 6:19-24. What was that? I just saw something go across the screen. Like, you probably didn't see it, but with that said, I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the long rambling session. I forgot. I was just explaining what was going on to some people that had new people that are watching for the first time, why I was talking about it. But stay tuned. I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Keep on keeping on and trusting God. He'll keep you safe in all you say and do in 2022. And until later, peace out, everybody. Goodbye. God bless. Have a wonderful rest of your beautiful fast Friday morning. Come back again after 1 for Unshakable Faith. So, sounds like a goodie. So, stay tuned. But I'll see you then. Goodbye.